In the last episode, Oda Nobunaga moved to finish off some of his fiercest rivals in central Japan, first destroying the Shogunate, then turning to wipe out the Azai and Asakura clans. Now, as the situation around the capital remains in a state of perpetual conflict, we look to see rises in the south as the Chosokabe and Shimazu both attempt to grow their spheres of influence. It has been decades since we last glanced at southern Japan. Although wars raged on the islands of Kyushu and Shikoku, for the most part, there had been little major exchange in territory. However, that was about to change in the early 1570s, as both the Shimazu and Chosokabe families began growing their power. Let us first start with the Shimazu clan of Satsuma, a once proud family who had nearly a century ago ruled over the majority of southern Kyushu, yet infighting and uprisings had led to their tragic shattering, which saw their influence severely diminished. You can learn more about their collapse in episode 6 of this series. By 1566, power over the clan transferred to the steadfast Shimazu Yoshihisa, a man who was forced to endure much as the Shimazu clan was continually threatened by their hostile neighbors, paramount of which being the Ito and Kimotsuke. His father, Shimazu Takahisa, had done well to hold the clan together, bolstering its stability and positioning it as a conduit of Western trade and culture. Feeling the time to be ideal, he retired as head of the clan and allowed Yoshihisa to inherit control. For years now, the Shimazu had been engaged in a bitter war against the neighboring Kimotsuke clan of Osumi, whose power and rising influence had become a threat. And although the Shimazu province of Satsuma remained secure, the Kimotsuke had held the upper hand in their many battles against the Shimazu. Under the leadership of Kimotsuke Kanetsugu, the Kimotsuke now stood poised for greatness. However, his fortunes were about to change when in 1566, Yoshihisa amassed the Shimazu armies and struck out once again into Osumi. Where Kanetsugu had been victorious in the past, he now found defeat as the Shimazu armies captured Koyama Castle and continued on to drive back the Kimotsuke forces. Facing a total and utter collapse of his clan, Kanetsugu opted to commit seppuku, allowing the Shimazu to press on and secure the majority of the province. However, Kanetsugu's death would not mean the end of the Kimotsuke, as they would continue on and later end up becoming vassals to the Shimazu. The Shimazu victory over the Kimotsuke can be seen as a real turning point for the clan, as they recaptured a province they had not held in decades, signaling renewed strength. However, one cannot ignore the importance of the Shimazu warband, as Yoshihisa's three brothers, Yoshihiro, Iehisa, and Toshihisa, would each come to exhibit exemplary and heroic service. The next threat the Shimazu would face would be the Ito clan of Hyuga, an arguably greater threat, especially due to the recent capture of the formidable border castle of Obi. By 1572, Daimyo Ito Yoshitsuke struck out from Hyuga into Osumi in aims to expand his borders, marching with an army around 3,000 strong and alongside allies from the Sagara clan of Higo province. It is here we can begin to see the legend of Shimazu Yoshihiro, brother of the daimyo. When the Ito attacked, Yoshihiro was there to defend. Although he was severely outnumbered, he would still prove to be a highly skilled adversary, as the two forces would come to battle at Kizakihara. He first moved his small force against the advancing Sagara army. Using a very well-known strategy, he erected banners and positioned his soldiers in a way that completely caught the Sagara off guard, fooling them into believing the Shimazu army to be much larger than anticipated. They decided to pull back to Higo rather than face sure defeat at the hands of what they thought to be a massive Shimazu army. With the Ito army now alone, Yoshihiro rushed to meet them at Kakuto Castle, which the Ito had just begun laying siege to. The Ito attempted to storm the castle overnight, yet due to the determination of Yoshihiro and the fellow Shimazu samurai, the Ito were completely repelled, causing them to withdraw back into Hyuga. It was then that Yoshihiro charged out to strike at their rear with a force no larger than 300, completely surprising the Ito and shattering their resolve as his soldiers fought ferociously. With the Ito army in disarray, the Shimazu force completely destroyed and scattered them, crippling the Ito clan entirely. Yoshihiro's victory is often looked back on and regarded to as the Okahizama of Kyushu. As in the years to come, with the Ito clan's strength severely weakened, the Shimazu now stand ready to move into their territory and become a regional power once again. Around that same time, there were also stirrings on the island of Shikoku. For decades, the Ichijo clan had exerted their authority over the province of Tosa, ruling over many smaller families within the area, such as the Chosokabe, Motoyama, and Aki. Yet in recent years, the power of the Ichijo had waned, allowing their vassals to gain increased independence. Of the lesser families of Tosa, it would be the Chosokabe who would come to prosper the most. Under the leadership of Chosokabe Motochika, he had engaged their rival, the Motoyama, dealing a devastating defeat to them in 1562 at the Battle of Asakura, after which the Motoyama would fall away and eventually capitulate to the Chosokabe roughly 6 years later. Motochika's ambition was now on the rise. However, he needed to remain cautious of his Ichijo overlords, as he still wished to maintain the illusion that he was a loyal vassal. By 1569, he felt his power sufficient to bring down the only other strong family under the Ichijo, the Aki clan. Marching with a force of 7,000 men, he would crush the Aki and emerge as arguably the true might of Tosa, now appearing perhaps mightier than the Ichijo. Fate favored Motochika, as the daimyo of the Ichijo clan, Ichijo Kanesara, was somewhat unpopular among the samurai of Shikoku. Thus, many competent commanders had over time left his service for other lords. After steadily growing his own power and witnessing the slow decline of the Ichijo, by 1573, Motochika deemed the time right to take war to his former overlord, marching an army to seize their power base of Nakamura. Yet although the Chosokabe found victory taking the Ichijo headquarters, the war between the two families would still drag on for another 2 years, eventually culminating in 1575 at the Battle of Shimantogawa, where Motochika would call forth an increased amount of farmer samurai from the Tosa countryside. Using his increased numbers, Motochika fooled Ichijo Kanesara into believing a two-pronged attack was occurring, causing him to split his forces, when in reality, the Chosokabe army remained in bulk and easily crushed the separated groups of Ichijo soldiers. After this victory, the Ichijo were utterly defeated, and Tosa fell entirely to the Chosokabe. Just like the Shimazu in Kyushu, this position now put Motochika in a perfect spot to begin a campaign of conquest over the island of Shikoku. So, what can we learn? By the late 1560s, both the Shimazu and Chosokabe clans stood on the precipice of power. For the Shimazu, victory over the Kimotsuki clan had allowed them to retake Osumi, yet putting them at odds with the Ito, who would soon invade. However, due to the cunning of Shimazu Yoshihiro, the Ito attack would be soundly crushed, paving the way for further Shimazu conquest. For the Chosokabe, daimyo Chosokabe Motochika had over the years been slowly able to eliminate his fellow vassals under the Ichijo clan of Tosa, first ending the Motoyama clan, followed by the Aki. Several years later, with the Ichijo clan's authority failing, Motochika would finally bring war to his old overlord, eventually defeating them at the Battle of Shimantogawa, allowing the Chosokabe to seize the entirety of Tosa. In the next episode, the Takeda clan under Takeda Katsuyori heads to war against the Oda, resulting in one of the most significant battles in world history, Nagashino. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell if you enjoyed this video and found it to be most informative.